Maseches Bava Metzia Daf Chavdalad Amud Aleph, and we should definitely go back to Tanya Moed Rabi Shimon and Elazar. Line starts with the Chavrei. Okay, Chavdalad Amud Aleph. Let's just say the Ilu Nishmas names and Refuah before we start. Okay, 1 second. Yeshir is Ilu Nishmas Sovi Moshe Menachem Ben Akiva. Rus Bas Shalom Sar Bas Moshe Refuah Norman Pro Lea Bas Tomo Shmuel Avram Ben Yudis. Yudis Bas Rivka Pnina Chai Bas Gul Arochel Ruben Yaakov Ben Golda Esther Gabriela Batzor Chana Batzima Tomo Bas Nori Beila Zislu in Bar Bas Yoel Tzvi Herzl Ben Denis Shalom Yosef Ben Hinda Yaakov Efran Ben Soro Besoch Shar Chol Israel. Okay, let's go. So we have a lot to say still about the concept of Rabi Shimon and Elazar. Before we go on, we have to remember what we're talking about over here. There's a concept called Kli Puria. Kli Puria, the way we described them last week in the previous Amud, Kelim Chadoshim Shalois Vosanain. These are new Kelim, new utensils that the eye did not yet get used to them, right? Says Rabi Shimon Elazar, such Kelim, he said in the Mishnah, those Kelim, even if the person is a Talmid Chacham, you do not return such Kelim to him, right? Which means, if these are Kelim that the Talmid Chacham does have Tzviyu sign, if it's a Kli that probably means that it stayed long enough by him, that this Talmid Chacham already got Tzviyu sign in it, already he has recognition and he recognized the Kli, even if there's no Siman, but the Talmid Chacham comes and he tells you, listen, this is mine, because why? Because I just know it's mine. I'm used to it, and I have my Tzvius Ayin, I have my natural recognition, the visual recognition of the Kli. Then I give him back the Kli. There are a lot of questions you can ask about that. And first of all, the question is, what do you mean when? The first question is, I'm sorry. The first question is, how do you know that the person who lost it is a Talmid Chacham? First of all, no, but when you found it, that's another question. No. I don't mean when he approached you, maybe he's faking it. Let's say when he came, you know the Talmid Chacham because he's known to be a Talmid Chacham. Everybody knows him. Yeah, and you know that he doesn't lie. Why Talmid Chacham? Because Talmid Chachamim, we say they don't lie, we hope, b'chule. Now, but the question is, if I found it in the street and it's not a Sefer Gemara, let's say it's a pot or a pen or a knife, I didn't know it belongs to Talmid Chacham. So some Rishonim say that really this applies to any time in any place, and you have to be machriz in case the person who comes will be Talmid Chacham. Then you'll have to return it. You understand? You announce it anywhere and everywhere. In case the person who lost it is Talmid Chacham, then you don't take chances. Most Rishonim disagree with that. The Ritva, the Tosfos, and many others, they say no. You only have to return those kelim that are what? That are old enough and have been used by the person, only if, says the Ritva, you know there's a group of Talmidei Chachamim that came to town, you know there's a group of Talmidei Chachamim that came, and you don't know which one of them lost it. Yeah, there was a Shabbos Isvaidus, there was some kind of, weekend retreat for all the Talmidei Chachamim, the big Avrechim in the Mir, the talk Torah, right, left, and center. Motzei Shabbos, he found someone's hat, someone's knife, someone's fork. Then what? You don't know who, but you know it's a Talmid Chacham because they're the only ones who are there. Or, says Tosfos and also the Ritva, it's just a place where Talmidei Chachamim frequent. It's a place basically visited frequently by Talmidei Chachamim, something like that. Then you have to return anything that may have been recognized by the owner, even if there's no siman. Now let's continue to the Brisa, and we're going to see many more things about it. Bezos Hashem. Tanya says in the Brisa, Moide Rabi Shimon ben Elazar. Rabi Shimon ben Elazar agrees to who? We're going to see soon. The Kelim Chadoshim. Listen carefully to the words. Rabi Shimon admits to somebody else. The Kelim Chadoshim shesvos on ha'ayin shechayv la'akis. What does that mean? Let's say there's a new kli. But svos on ayin. Sometimes a kli that is new, but yes, svos on ayin, the eye may get used to it quickly, even though it's new. There are types of kelim that a person uses, and I'll tell you what kind of kelim these are. Says the Tosfos read He says, let's say things you use by the table. Back then, each person would have his own cup, his own fork, or his own forks were not so common, his own knife. It was your own personal cutlery. So very quickly you get used to it, and even if there's no blue polka dot at the end of the knife or your insignia, you get used to it quickly. If you are a Talmid Chacham, honest person, we believe you. So then Reb Shimon agrees shechayv lahachris. Says Tosfos, who does he admit to? Who does he agree to? We haven't seen any other opinion here. Says Tosfos an amazing chiddush. He says like this. If you, that answers me a question I had since Kita Daled. I never saw this Tosfos before. If you notice, the Mishnah said at the beginning a list of 10 things, right? 10 items you don't have to return, right? Money that's scattered, and fruit that's scattered, and the figs and the thing, and the pieces of wool and the pieces of cotton. The question is, why can't the Mishnah just say one word? Anything that has no siman, you don't return. Why do you have to go through this entire list? Right? It's because it's a nice picture for the picture book of the children of Kita Daled. The rabbis get creative. Is that why we want Jewish creativity? Says Tosfos a beautiful answer. Says Tosfos, I'll tell you why. You know why? These things say Chachomim Tanakama, there's never Tvius Ein on them. Those items, there's no Tvius Ein. Food or a piece of cloth, a piece of things that, food you eat right away. People wouldn't store food in the kitchen for so long. Therefore, says Tosfos like this. Tanakama is telling me that any item that a person may get used to visually, Tvius Ein, even if it's brand new, and even if it's something that he has seen for a very short amount of time, we still believe that Talmid Chacham will return it to him. Only those items of the Mishnah that are foods that are very common or that are very banal, or things that are like a piece of wool, a piece of that there's no Tviyus sign, you don't return to anybody. And that says Rabi Shimon Elazar, Kol Klan Purya En Chayav L'Achriz. A new Kli, although it's a Kli that you may get used to in the future, but you are not yet used to it, such a Kli you don't return to anybody, not even a Talmid Chacham. Well, Chachamim believe that any Kli, even in the future you'll get used to it, you always return it to Talmid Chacham if it's a Kli that has your personal touch, your personal connection. That's a Machloikis. Now comes, I'm reading again. Rabi Shimon Elazar admits to Chachamim, Bekelim Chadoshan Shesvasona and Shechav La'achriz. If the Kli is new, but I know it's a type of Kli that people get used to very quickly, that kind of Kli you have to return, such as what? Such as the eating utensils. The Elu, now continues the price of Elen Kelim Chadoshim Shalois Vosonain She'enu Chayv La'achriz. What are the new kelim that we assume a person is not used to quickly, and you don't have to return them because these are kinds of kelim that a person does not get used to quickly. And according to Rabi Shimon Elazar, you do not have to announce them to anybody, not even if you found them in yeshiva smear. You don't have to return them because people don't get used to them so quickly at all. Kegoin, for example, Badei Mechotin, he's giving us 3 examples, and soon we'll explain what's going on here. Badei Mechotin, these are basically like sticks, like staves or sticks that you have mechotin stuck into them. You have your mechotin, which are needles. Now you have needles. Where do you store your needles? Back then, they would like stick the needles in one long piece of wood or branch. Take a branch of a tree. Today you have a pin. Today you have a cushion. So back then it was not a cushion. Back then they used, from some reason, the branch. So these things are once, and the tzinorios, which we said last time, tzinorios are like a small fork made out of, in order to toive gold, they would spin gold threads in it. The machroidos shel kardomos. Machroidos shel kardomos are X's, and those X's are all mechraz, they're all like tied together. Yeah, call a 1 minute. What's the common denominator between these 3 things? I went crazy. I looked in all the Rishonim until I found the Tosfos read. He says those things are things that you use for work. You don't use them so much, or for mischa, you sell them on usually for another person. Some chacham usually would not do it himself. He would maybe sell them on, or it's not something used very personal at your kitchen table, at your dining room. And therefore, such a thing you don't get used to quickly at all. And therefore, as long as it's new, you don't announce it to anybody at all. Says who? Rabi Shimon Elazar. And Chachamim argue to say no. You always have to return anything that eventually will become Tvius Ayin, because we believe more in the Talmid Chachamim, knowing what they do and believe in their honesty, and you have to return it. Again, according to Tosfos, and that's the Ramo. The Ramo says also only if you found it in a place frequented by Talmid Chachamim. And by the way, what I said last time was one thing I was correct about was already the Noise Kelim. The commentaries on Shulchan Aruch say that nowadays we may not have Talmid Chachamim for that level. The question, let's put it this way. All these that we said, when we said, according to Rabi Shimon and Elazar, that those items that are new and the person, the owner, is not used to them as long as they're new, when is it that you don't have to return it, you keep it to yourself? When is that true? Is if you found one fork, one little golden fork, not for eating, for weaving, or you found, or spinning, you found one what? One item, let's say the machat, the bad, or the exen, those things, shemitzon, one by one, meaning one single unit, you don't have to return. Let's say you found two golden little forks together, you must return, you must announce. Why? Because number is a siman. Remember, if you say I found the mechotin, and then the person says how many were there? There were two. Two is a siman. Two is a sign because chayv lahachriz. My bade shuchei. What are badim? Badim. What does it mean? I told you it's a branch. The Gemara answers badi is a sucha, which is a branch. But ma karle badi. Why do they call it a bad? In other words, a bad that we are used to. Bad is another name, by the way. Bad, I don't know if people know. Bad is a synonym. What? Right. Bad is a cloth. And bad also is a synonym for a branch. Yeah, bad, yeah. So basically, badei arava, yeah, badei hadasim. These are branches. So why do you call it a branch? Because lamaisa, it's not a branch anymore. It's a piece of wood, which was a branch once in its better days. Now you stick the needles in it in your at home. Why is it called a bad? Answers the Gemara, and it has to do with Sukkos, our upcoming holiday. Dover the talubei midi, anything that you hang anything onto. Bad kaule. It's called a bad. A bad is called anything that still has something hanging onto it, be it fruit or leaves, or be it the needles that you stick in the branch. Just like we learned over there, where in Maseches Sukkah, it says over there, ale echad bevad echad. According to some opinion, a rovas, even if you have only one ale, you have one leaf in each bad, in each branch of willow, then it's good enough. I'm not saying it's halacha l'maaseh, but some say, yeah, if you get very meyuash from your rov is getting dry, according to one opinion, one leaf in one branch is good enough. All we're taking from here is the word bad, which means a branch or anything that you hang on to. There is a question but many Rishonim ask the question as follows. They ask, if you said number is a siman, right? We said number is a good siman. If number is a good siman, then the guy can say, look, we have a machroizes, we have a whole chain with a few X's on them. I'll tell you if it's 5 or 7 or 8. Why isn't that a good siman by itself? Why tell me only if you found 2 forks or 2 sets, like 2 strings with a few kardumas on them? Even if you found 1 string with 5 or 7 or 3 kardumas, you can also announce. Why isn't that a good way to announce it? The answer is what we said last week. The bingo, very nice. They're all the same. We're talking here that there's a very standard number of dozen eggs or dozen X's on the string, and therefore it's not a siman. But if I found 2 or 3 or 4 sets, that's of course a siman. Not everybody loses the same number of the strings with the X's on them. Now comes another state. By the way, who's halacha like? Like Rabi Shimon ben Elazar. Here I want to teach you a rule, which maybe I've taught you in the past. Yeah, if you have your notebooks, you can write it in your notebooks, and if not, not. The rule is as follows. Rabi Shimon ben Elazar, according to Tosfos, argues with Chachamim, right? He's a minority. Who's halacha like? Like Rabi Shimon ben Elazar, even though he's a minority. Why? Because if you noticed, who did we speak about more in the past few days in the sugya? Who's? No. In the machlokes here between Chachamim and Shimon ben Elazar. Rabi Shimon ben Elazar. He's the one who invented, so to speak, the whole business with not returning Talmid Chachamim always being Puria, right? We spoke about him more than Chachamim. Like now, just now we developed the sugya and said, according to him, it has to be the fork, and the fork is only one, and not two, two and not one. Say the Rishonim, because we see the Gemara discussing the opinion of Rabi Shimon and Elazar, that means Allah is like him. You should know that's the rule. Many times you see like 2 or 3 opinions, and one opinion is being spoken about and gets center stage. You know, look, in some families, in many families, one child gets a center stage. It's not educational, right? So I'm saying here, lahavdil, one Amoyer gets all the limelight, while the other opinion somehow disappeared into the dark somewhere. Even though it may be one opinion, usually halacha is like him. Because if the Gemara discussed his opinion, that shows Amoraim are like, you know, voting for him. And that is the rule here too. What? Okay, tell me about it later. And so too, continues the Gemara, another kula of Rabi Shimon Elazar. Again, Rabi Shimon Elazar was Meiko with who? With the one who found it, right? If I found something that's brand new, and is something that is what people don't get used to it quickly, such as those interesting items that are for work or for sale, it's not for your personal use. What do I do with it? I keep it to myself because there's no simon. Hey, I found it in Yeshiva Smir. I found it in the Hisvaidus of all the Talmidei Chachamim. Lo meshane, says him, right? Only if it's something that they get used to, then you have to return to them, or something that they're likely to get used to quickly, such as the knives and the forks. Again, another leniency of Rabi Shimon ben Elazar regarding a Shavas Aveda. So too, Rabi Shimon Elazar Omer. Another statement which we're going to see, I think, for the 4th time, the same concept in different ways. Hamatzil mina'ari. Let's say someone is on a trip to Africa. Oh, Yosef, you're inviting us for a safari trip. Very nice, thank you. And what? And all of a sudden, one of the lions, they attacked my my phone. He likes, because it's kosher, you can eat it. Yeah. So the lion wants to eat my phone, and what happened? Somebody else saved the phone from the lion. It's a courageous guy, Yosef. He saved the phone from the lion, and what? And now who's going to get the phone? Not me. Yosef will get it. The one who saved it is going to get it. Why? Because when the lion attacked my phone, I gave up on it. Because most people won't fight with a lion, right? So even if the lion, whatever, we had this sugi at the end of a comic, if you remember, 1 second. So conceptually, somebody who saves an Aveda that was already a lost case, black hole, nobody's going to see it ever again, thought the owner. Umina dove from the bear. Oh, that can happen in America, right? America, Canada. Umina dove, umina namer, from the tiger, umina bardalas in modern Hebrew, it's cheetah. In old Hebrew, Rashi says it's a hyena. Umin zuta shilyam, you know better than me, the tide of the sea. Somebody lost something in the beach, and then the tide came, the ebb and low. Yeah, no, ebb and the other one. The ebb and low, no, whatever. The tide, ebb and flow, or whatever, the high tide, low tide. The kids it's for sure lost. Yeah, the sea took it away. Let's say there was an overflow of the river. That those things, the person who lost them, according to it's machlokes rishonim, the simple opinion is it's just a pashtus svara. The what? The person who lost it there gave up hope completely straight away, right? It's not even Yushal Midas. Thank you for your patience. 1 second. Comes another statement of Shimon Elazar. The second statement, listen carefully, because that statement will be our friend to the end of this year today. Amoitze besratia uplatia gdoilo. Sratia is like in Hebrew, or comes from Greek, I think. Istratia is autostrada, is a highway. Somebody found something, an item in a highway, even with a siman. Uplatia reminds us of a plaza, the town square. Gdoilo. Yeah, somebody found in a very busy place, not a regular Rishus Harabim, it's even a Rishus Harabim for Shabbos. In other words, it's a place like a big town square, marketplace, says Rashi in Masechah Shabbos Daf Hey. It's a highway. A lot of people are there. It's a very busy place. Any place where many people are around, let's say, could be indoors, but you know, a lot of people are there. Yeah, we're going to see soon. It could be like a shul, or could be a place lahavdil by the goyim. I don't know, a theater. They belong to the finder. Why? I can hear a question soon. But basically, it's very interesting. The idea is that if somebody found something with a siman, say all the Rishonim unanimously, as far as I could see, he found something with a siman, big chiddush, but you found it in a very busy place. The Bailim are supposed to be miyash, even according to Abaye. We highly assume that it was already miyash, right? Why? Midas. Very good. Why? Because there are more ganovim. Because why? In a busier place, I don't know, Mechavrus and I try to figure out why in a busier place you have more thieves. I don't know if there are more thieves because it's a marketplace or it's a, but could be, I think, statistically, let's say every fourth person or fifth person is a ganim. So in a quiet street, which is a Shut Rabin, but much more quiet, it's a park in the corner, then what? You have 10 people walking at the same time, you have two ganovim. Over there, if you have 100 people, then you have 200 people, then you have 20 ganovim, yeah? In other words, they're more likely that ganovim are there. I had another Balbati Shapshat. The guy lives in town. So the people of the town he knows and he trusts. But Sarati or Plati are places which it says in Shabbos people from other towns come. I don't know the people from the other town. I trust my own people. Ahmad B'Shemesh Aleph Hezron Sadiqim in Aleph. But maybe people come from other places to the Merkaz or to the highway. Then the kids are from some reason, when it's very, very busy place, you give up hope. It's true. I was once in a trip to somewhere in Europe, and they told us in the very busy street you have to be much more careful from pickpockets because that's where they work. That's where they hang around there. That's where the good stuff is in the market. That's where all the rich people come. Yes. So Mimele says Shem Elazar, in those places, even if you found it with a seaman, keep it for yourself because we assume very strongly that the one who lost it gave up hope, assuming said the one who lost to himself. Probably a Ganav will find it. And that's always miyash. Yes. Okay. Baruch points out, I mean, I'm taking something from what Baruch said. It's true that I told you already at the beginning. In all the cases in this parak, yeah, when it says you don't have to return because it's a Gosha city, because the guy was miyash, because there's no simon, if you do return it, and you know the guy is real, and you returned it to him, yeah, then it's a good thing to do, liftim mishur sadin. Right. Okay. You're asking now, is the mechanism of returning it like matana? Now, I could have kept it to myself, right? I'll give you an answer. There are two ways, I think there are two ways to do it. Either I pick it up in order to give it to the one who lost it, then it was never mine. My kavanah is I'm picking it up. I know that somebody lost it. I saw him. I'm a bayinik. I saw the guy at the end of the merkaz saying, I lost my very nicely wrapped piece of cake, and I'm starving hungry. I want to eat the cake. I'm allowed to eat the cake because he was miyash from it, right? Okay? And I'm being nice. I'm being good. And I run to him and I give it back to him. Very good thing that I did that, right? Now, you're right. I can be mechavin when I pick it up, not to be koine for myself, not to bechlal possess it, and I'm like his dochilodum shalom b'fanav. Maybe I return it to him, and I'm like his yad. I'm already buying it for him, so to speak, getting it for him. Very nice. Or there's another way. I get it for myself, which I'm allowed to, and then give it to him b'matana. Both are right. Very nice. I accept. Beautiful. Very nice. No. Very nice. Yes. Iboilu. Now comes the question. The question of the Yush, what we assume that if somebody lost something in a very busy place, he already gave up hope on what? On humankind, on human beings that hang around there. Mistomi was lost, and I don't have to return it to him. He was miyash. Iboilu comes the question. Kikom Rabi Shimon ben Elazar of Knainim. Did he speak about a city when the majority are Knainim? I'm not gonna. Knanim doesn't have to be just Knanim, can be anybody who's not exactly Jewish. Berov Knanim, only when the majority of population are not Jewish, then the person is Miyash, because he assumes they won't give it back to him Shavas Aveda, because Goyim are not Mechuyev Shavas Aveda, or they don't think they are. Aval Berov Yisrael Loi. But if the majority is Jewish and he trusts that they will give it back to him, even in a busy place, that's one way, okay? Or Dilma, or maybe or maybe he said it even when the majority is Israel. Says to his first, look at this small Tosis next to us. Even by the Jewish population, let's be honest with ourselves. Some people are in Mali, some Yidden, as we said, some Genovim are Jewish, and therefore you could say that even the Jewish population, you don't have to give it back because gave up hope. All the Rishonim are jumping on the throat of here, and they ask, wait a second, what are you telling me here? Maybe Rabi Shimon Elazar said, that if this is taking place in Ir B'Knainim, this is taking place in Amman or Amsterdam or Tokyo or even Antwerp. Most people are going even there. Yeah, most are going. And we say the majority are going, so don't have to return because the guy was miyash, the Jew lost it. I don't have to give it back to the Jew. Why? Because Mistami gave up hope. What are you talking about? Says Tosis and Ritva and everybody. If the majority are going, Mistami, the one who lost it, is a goy, right? Mistami, the one who lost it is who? Mackenzie, McKinley, Mahmoud, or Chin Chan Chun. So I anyhow don't have to return it, right? Why do you come? Whenever we talk about the Shavas Aveda, you have to be programmed two ways: the one who lost and the one who found, right? So you're talking the one who lost it is the Hasidic Shid from Antwerp who was passed down here in the Shtreimel, but he gave up hope because he thought the one who's going to find it is Yan Cham Cham Cham. Why? Maybe the one who lost it is the goy. Answers Tosis and Ritva and everybody. We're talking over here, even if you know that he lost it. Ritva answers similar to before. Let's say you saw in Antwerp, you're walking down the street and you saw a bunch of Hasidic Jews. You don't know who, I don't know, it's not like an anti-Semite, but from the back, we all look the same, right? And therefore, one of them dropped, I don't know, something from his pocket. I don't know who, there were 50 of them, 100 of them, a big Kiddush, I don't know what, not on Shabbos. Yeah, and he dropped. Yeah, I know it's from a Jew, but it's in a busy street in Antwerp, in the central place there by the diamond exchange. So the one who lost, I know he's a Yid. But I also know, so to speak, that he gave up hope because he assumed that the ones who found it were going. Or not extremely friendly over there, and they probably didn't give it to the Yid. And Mimela, I can keep it to myself. That's one side. Or says the other side, maybe even if the majority are Israel, even if it happens in Bnei Brak or in Beit Shemesh or in Beit Sha'an or Beersheva, most people are Jewish. Still, maybe, unfortunately, many of us are not exactly always so honest, and the person gave up hope there too. And we're talking about obviously a very busy place, not a quieter place where it's less likely to be stolen. Now comes the Gemara. We're up now. We are about to embark on a big. I see everybody here at the very tiring Shabbos. Right there. Says we're gonna have a very very long flow chart. Some Gemaras are ping pong, some Gemaras are flow chart. That's a flow chart. If you want to say, if you tell me afilu Rabi Israel nami omar, if you want to tell me that Rabi Shimon ben Elazar said what he said, what did he say? That the person is miyash when even if the majority are Jews, he's still miyash. Then the question is, what about Rabbanon? Rabbanon argued. What did Rabbanon say? They never said it, but what did they quietly not say? They don't say you're miyash in the public place. Pligi Rabbanon aloi pligi. Do Rabbanon argue or don't they argue? I don't know. Rabbanon didn't say anything. Would Rabbanon, who are not Rab Shimon ben Elazar, do they argue? Do they say no, that the person believes things will be given back to him, even by Goysha people? He believes he'll find it back, yes or no? What do Chachamim say? Says Rashi, but both majority goyim or when the Jews are the majority. Now, the imtim tziloimer pligi, if you want to tell me the Chachamim argue and say what? Argue and say that you do have to return something that has a simon in a very busy place. You do have to return, no use. If they argue, then another flowchart box opens. The Rabi Israel vade pligi. Rabi Israel, of course, they would argue and say the majority in Bnei Brak, Avada, a nice Avrech will find it, a nice seminary girl. They argue and say, excuse me, in Rabbi Akiva Street in Bnei Brak, you don't give up hope. You assume people would be yosher, there's some mitzvah. They'll give it back to you. Beroiv Knainim pligi, Beroiv Knainim pligi or pligi. But if it's Tokyo or Toronto, yeah, or wherever, or Tampa, when most people are goyim, do they argue then or not? Maybe then they agree. When most people are goyim, you're less likely to be so not gullible, so trusting. The intim tomer pligi, I feel about knainim. And even if you're going to tell me that they argue when the majority are knainim, they always argue, and Chachamim and Rab Shimon Elazar have a complete machlokes. The what? Rab Shimon Elazar believes that in all cases, goyim or Jews, you never give it back because you always gave up. And Chachamim say you always have to give it back because the loser never gave up hope. Yeah. Then okay, we may have a very strong, crash over here, collision. Then halacha k'moisoi or an halacha k'moisoi. Is halacha like Reb Shimon Elazar or not? Okay, let's say there's a machlokes. Is halacha like Shimon Elazar? Shimon Elazar already won. He had one victory. Do we say over here also halacha is like Shimon Elazar? 1 minute. We have to get to the end of the another curve and another thing. Im tim tzaloimer halacha k'moisoi. Then let's say halacha is like Reb Shimon Elazar, which is going to happen. Davka berov knainim. Is halacha like him? He says you always give up hope, and you, the finder, can always keep it to yourself. Do we follow him la halacha only when the majority are goyim? I lost something in Tokyo, go talk to the walls, or if you love Israel. Or maybe do we follow Shimon Elazar that says you can keep it to yourself if you found it in the busy street, also in Bnei Brak or B'Shemesh or Western Yerushalayim? That's a question. So right now, yeah, we have many questions, but those questions are directing us. You should know the Rambam says another rule. We're learning rules. This is not a Gemara shir to just memorize look parrots. The rule over here is what says the Rambam. Whenever you say imtim tziloimar, that's the side that we take. Like in a flow chart, right? You have the last option, the bottom of the page. Okay, it's only an option in the Gemara. That's the right one. Yeah. Now there's you have A or B. If you say B, then C or D. That means the Gemara is really hinting you that B is the right one, right? Then from B you have an opening. If you say B, then C or D. Then if you say D, then E or F. Halacha is like D. Yeah. So it sounds like so far another victory for Reb Shimon Elazar, but we're now asking Ma alohe. Is halacha like Reb Shimon Elazar by goyim only, where it's more likely that the person is me'ash, or even by Eden? That's a question. Yes, Rabbi Baruch. So now the question is, now the question was now narrowed down, was cornered to one question. If halacha is Shimon Elazar, they have found something in a busy place, I can keep it because I assume, a halacha assumes an halacha gives me the stamp of approval to keep it because we assume the guy lost and gave up hope. He lost the item and lost hope. Is that only when most of the population are going, or even when they're Yidden? That's a question. Says the Gemara, last narrow line. Toshma, come in here, a statement which we learned a few days ago. Somebody finds money. The botek nesios, he finds it. What's botek knesses? How do you translate the knesses? The shul, the synagogue. So we think. Any other place which is really busy, very densely inhabited. What? They belong to the finder. Because the Bailim are miyash baruch. We assume the Bailim is miyash in a busy place. We're going to relate to your point soon. And that's the statement. Zog the Gemara. Man shomas le the ozil basa ruba. Very confusing statement. Who's the one? Ozil basa ruba doesn't mean that you follow the majority like in Beis Din or in Kashrus. It means who is the one amongst the two opinions that we had that says that when you have roiv here doesn't mean majority. Roiv means a lot, harbe, a crowd. Who is the one who said when there's a big crowd of people, a Manhattan-style place, or even maybe a Kiva Street, who's the one who says that it makes a difference if you find something in a busy place versus a quieter Shus Rabbi? Rabi Shimon Elazar. And Shmas Mino, you hear from here, Rabbi Peretz, I feel about Israel Nami, a shul in Besmedrash, of course, they're Jewish places. I think most people who come to shul are Jewish, otherwise we're in trouble. Unless it's temple something is temple Avat Achim, is not, most of them have are going. But if it's proper shul bet knesses, then what? It's obviously Jewish. So you see Mefurash, and I assume the other place is the same. It's knesses Besmedrash. So even if the third one is going, Lamaisa, 2 out of 3 places mentioned are Jewish. So you see what? Black and white. That Rabi Shimon Elazar would allow you to take the item even if the majority are Jewish. What a good answer. Answers the Gemara. The Gemara is now deflating the balloon. No. You know why over here we say you can keep the money to yourself? Because the money is completely scattered. It's scattered in a completely messy way. And that's why you can keep it to yourself. Because the first Mishnah told us that one of the first items was money. You found some coins or even, notes that are completely all over the place, no siman. So people gives up hope. everywhere. Frag the Gemara, yes, everywhere. What? Frag the Gemara. Even if Fuzoin, you're talking here that the item, the money is completely scattered. Ma'ir emokim sharabin mitzuin sham. So why are you telling me only in a place where there's a lot of people, like the shul or the market or a place with many people? I feel en rabin mitzuin sham. If the item is no simon whatsoever, you can keep it wherever you found it, even in the quietest, nicest park, even in Rishus HaYochid, anywhere you found it. The whole idea of Rishus HaRabim, a busy Rishus HaRabim, is even if there is a sign, even if there is a mark. If there is no mark b'chlal, you can't say that. Ela must be lo'ilam betzrurin or tzvurin. Must be, we're talking here about money that is located, not only located, the money is also positioned in a place, not in the place, in a form, in a tzura, in a form that looks like one particular shape. It's shaped like a pyramid. It's shaped like I don't know, something interesting, like a circle, as we'll see later. And therefore, you know that the person actually has a simon in it. You can say, I lost it, yeah, I misplaced it, I forgot it, and it has a certain shape to it, right? Or some say, even if it doesn't have a specific shape, if you see that they're munach, they're like properly located somewhere, then you know that he just left it there, chinuach. He left it there in order to take it back. We'll discuss it later. But Lemaisa, the question is back to square one. We must say that the money over here is money that is not stamp scattered, because that kind of money you never ever return. There is the money with simon. The money has a simon. It's inside a pink envelope with a letter A. That big simon. Such a thing you don't return even in a shul. No. So you see that even though a place is Jewish, like a shul, like a Beis Knesses, then you still don't have to return. So you see the Rabi Shimon Elazar applies what he says even to a Jewish place. And says the Gemara, nay. You know what we're talking over here? It's a Bet Knesses of Knainim. Whoops. Up until now, we thought Beis Knesses means a shul or maybe a synagogue. What's Knesset mean? I don't mean the Israeli parliament. Don't get me started. Lahit Knes means together. Beit Knesset literally means a gathering place. That's why very, very, very sadly, some people think that a shul is a social club, and it's a very sad mistake. Yeah. In other words, Beis Knesset is, by the literal translation, a place of gathering. Says the Gemara, Beis Knesset here could be talking about Beit Knesset of Goyim. Says Rashi, a place where they come to be misyaitz, misvaid. It's a place like the court or the parliament where the many people are. It's a place where all get together for their own needs. Or could be in the base of a Dazara, but that a Yid wouldn't be there, right? Let's say it's a place, today would be a pub, a very busy restaurant, yeah? Any place of Goyim, Tachana Merkazit of Tokyo, Tachana Merkazit of New York, Central Station, I don't know, Penn Station, I don't know these places. Yeah. Oh, no. King's Cross, very busy, right? King's Cross, you found it in King's Cross Station in the UK. So there are a lot of Goyim there, and it's a very busy place. That's a bit Knesset. It's a house full of Goyim. And there you don't return. But you don't know yet what Rabi Shimon Elazar would say about a Jewish place, which is very busy and very crowded. We don't yet know. No questions for the next 2 minutes. Now, Frag the Gemara, what a Musardika question. You can say Bet Knesset means the Bet Knesset of Goyim. Because Goyim get together and meet Knesset for all kinds of things, maybe to watch a movie. But the second item out of the three was Besmedrash. There is no Besmedrash of Goyim. There's no such thing of Besmedrash of Goyim. No such thing. Don't tell me library, university. That's no. Yeah. There's no Besmedrash of Goyim. A base medrash is particularly for Torah, right? So how do you explain that? You can't say it's a Goyish version. Answers the Gemara. So must be what? Only by God, even by Eden. Even by Eden, he says that you don't return because you believe that the guy lost hope. Even by Jewish place, like a Besmedrash, there's no Goyish Besmedrash. He must be talking about a Jewish place. Answers the Gemara. Posei medrash didan diyatvi beuknainim. We're talking about Medrash, Arbes Medrash, where the Knainim sit there. What does that mean? Says Rashi, it's a Besmedrash of Arbes Medrash, where the Goy sits. What does the Goy do? Every Israeli can relate to that. He's the Shomer Bitachon. The Goy is the guard. The Beis Knesset is outside in the open. It's in the field. And the Goy guards it. Abdul Mahmoud Rahman, he is the Shomer. And that's why you don't return it because the people sitting in the Besmedrash out of town, they think that the one who stole it is the Goy. Frag the Ritva, the Goy is a mute. 99% of the people in Besmedrash, out of town Besmedrash, meaning in the field where it's dangerous and you need a shomer. So what? They're Jews. So why do you think it's a shomer? Says the Ritva, if I'm not mistaken, the Ritva is the one who says because he's kavua, he's there all the time. In the Besmedrash, you have people coming for different shurim, different storim. But the one who's there all the time, 24/7, is the shomer. So he's more kavua. When it comes to kavua, to being set, being fixed over there, he's more than the Jews. Get that? Mitzad is kvius. And that's why the person lost up hope. Hallelujah Tzir, there's a place of only Eden, and even the shomer is a good yid, then the person would not be miyash, possibly. Hashados is lochi. Now that we gave that answer for Besmedrash, we can also give the same answer for Bet Knesses. But Nami, the Knesses also, we don't have to give that doichek teretz that it's a base Knesses, a gathering place of goyim. It's didan, it's our shul, it's a regular from shul. There's a shomer like today in Germany. Yeah, they have a shomer who's a goy and he guards the shul from anti-Semitic people, from anti-Semites. In England, sometimes, not all of them. Now more? Not every shul in England has it. Some shuls have it, some don't. Yeah, in England. I know. Yeah, federal government. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Toshma, let's try and figure out again. Are we talking here about majority of Jews? Yeah, even then the person is miyash, or only when the majority is are going is when the person is miyash. And obviously, we're completely now in Rabi Shimon Elazar world. Our locha seems very much like him because why? You just learned the rule today, or maybe you knew it before. And that is when we follow someone's opinion, the other opinion is like, left behind in the ditches, he's the winner. Toshma, this is a Mishnah in Machshirin, Masechet in Taurus. Motzo be'aveda. What's motzo be'aveda? Someone found aveda in it. The Mishnah there gives you many, many cases that apply to a city which is a mixed city, men and women together, of Goyim and Jews together. Yeah, you have a mixed city. You know what's a mixed city? Go 15 minutes with the car. Ramle, 15 minutes from here. You have a nice amount of Arab population. Not Ramallah. Ramle and Lod. Lod and how? Every once in a while we hear about them. So you go to a city where you have some Jewish, some nice amount of population on both sides. And New York, yeah. And you find a lost item there. You don't know what to do. If the majority are Jews, yeah, go to the area, find out, go online and see the statistics. Yeah, if most are Jewish, you have to give back. But if the majority are going, you don't have to return it. Oh, now, Motzo Bo, the Rishonim say we talk here about a case where you found it in the middle of the high street, in the middle of the busy place, of the marketplace, or so we assume now. You found it in a busy area where both Jews and Goyim are around, yeah? And you have to see who's the majority. Says the Gemara, we finished the Mishnah, we're trying to derive something from the Mishnah. Who's the one who says that if you found it in a very busy place, you don't have to return because the person was miyahesh and you can keep it? Elazar. Oh, and here the Mishnah is black and white. Shmatz mino, you clearly hear from here. Ki kom Rabi Shimon Elazar, below Knainim. Rabi Shimon Elazar said, when can you keep it if you found it in a busy place? If the majority are going. The majority are Mahmoud Abdul. Aval Ba'ov Yisrael loy. Nice. That's it. Ba'ov Yisrael loy. Good. In other words, if the majority are Jews, even if you found it in a busy place, then the person trusts that most Yidden would, yes, return and are not Ganovim, and you cannot keep it. You have to return it if they're Jewish. That's what we learn in Rabi Shimon Elazar. Says the Gemara, no, not necessarily. Homani. Now we're taking a step backwards. Amani Rabbanani. Could be this Mishnah applies, it could be this Mishnah follows Rabbanon. Could be this Mishnah was written by Rabbanon. You may raise an eyebrow and say, Rabbanon? They argued in Rabi Shimon Elazar. Go up in the flow chart, 2 stages. We said we're not sure Rabbanon always argue in Rabi Shimon Elazar, right? One of the stages was, maybe Rabbanon only argue in Rabi Shimon Elazar when it comes to what? When it comes to Yidden. But Yidden would say, no, Shimon Elazar, Mapitom say Rabbanon. Of course, one Yid trusts the other Yid. If he lost it in Bnei Brak, or in a 60% Jewish city, you would give it back. Only by Goyim we agree with you. Bingo. Maybe that's these Rabbanon. Yeah? Maybe those Rabbanon are the authors of the Mishnah. You're trying to figure out what's Rab Shimon Elazar's opinion, because he's the halacha. No, maybe he would tell you both Goyim and Yidden. Imagine yourself in your mind 2 boxes. Rab Shimon Elazar ticks both boxes. Yes, yes. Both Goyim and Yidden right. You can keep it to yourself. And Rabbanon argue with him in one case and not the other. And they're the Mishnah and Machshirin. That's it. Maybe that's Mishnah that tells me that really, Lefi Rabbanon, when most are Yidden, then you argue and say most Yidden don't keep it because the guy trusts Yidden to give it back to him. Says the Gemara, if so, okay. Tifshat mino. So from here you can answer the other question. The Moidule Rabbanon, Rab Shimon Elazar, Beroiv Knainim. Okay, so from here you can see. So good. So from here you can lichoira be poishet. You can understand from here. You can derive from here that in the case of the majority goyim, then Chachamim agree with Rab Shimon Elazar, right? They said only the majority are Jewish, give it back. But even the majority are goyim, they agree. And that's also not good because you kept it as a question. Why can't you answer your question before from this Mishnah? Ella, answer from here. Why did you remain with the question? Ella, we want to get out of that forest over here. We're now driving out of that mess. We can say it's Rab Shimon ben Elazar who says what? He's the one who says that the majority are this, majority are that. It makes a difference. However, you cannot answer the question from this Mishnah. Wow. Could be the Rab Shimon ben Elazar. Even normally, even the majority are Jews. Could be Rab Shimon ben Elazar would tell you that the person has to do what? Return. Even the majority are Jewish. Yeah, excuse me, the person keeps it to himself. The person keeps it to himself always. Like we originally said. Rab Shimon ben Elazar is a very, very extreme, both Jewish majority or Goyish majority, you keep to yourself. How come the Mishnah and Mechshirin we just read said Mefurash, when majority are Jews, then you do give it back? Betomun. Mishnah and Mechshirin is out of the story. We quickly took a right turn out of the forest and we say, Tomun. We are talking here about an item that was not lost. It's an item you see hidden in the corner of the street. It's not lost, it's hidden. And that's why if the majority are Jews, you have to return it. You have to start announcing it. The majority are Goyim, then you don't. So again, well, I can see very good you guys have a problem here, and it's good you have a problem. Let's just summarize. Could be Rab Shimon Elazar spoke and was Meikol. If I find it in a regular town square of either Beijing, Baltimore, Bnei Brak, or Beit Shemesh, or Baghdad, or Brussels, wherever you found it, keep it to yourself. We don't believe in anybody anymore. Why? A busy place, Ganovim, wherever they are. What about this Mishnah that says you do have to return if majority are Jews? That's talking about an item that's common. It's something that you can see the person hid it in order to take it later. And now you have to take it and announce it. What? Says the Gemara, Ibet Tomun, my vida take a bay. If the person hid it, leave it there. Yeah. You'll see, going to this medrash, it's very fashionable now in shul to have a standard. I also have one, yeah? Then what? My son made me one, yeah? Then what? You see someone, inside the standard, there is something, you take it out and announce. Keep it there. He kept it there hiding. So even if you see it in a small corner behind some electricity box, something like that, you found an item, keep it there. Why do you announce it? Keep it there. The Hatnan, and I'll prove it to you from a Mishnah. Matzah Kli. Now we're going to quote a Mishnah which we'll see in a few days or weeks. Yeah, says the Mishnah as follows: Matzah. This Mishnah comes to again question: why do I bichlal have to touch and start announcing the item that's hidden? It says in the Mishnah, Matzah Kli ba'ashpa. Now ashpa doesn't exactly mean garbage, but it does mean it a little bit, which means ashpa in the times of the Gemara was a place usually behind the house, in the backyard, and that's where people would keep all their shmatis. People, the Bnei Chotzer, the people would keep all kinds. It's a little bit like it's not exactly the common garbage can which you have in Israel for the entire building. It's not exactly like that. Because sometimes, as we're going to see very soon, that ashpa, sometimes people would just leave all kinds of odds and ends there. And then people take it like for a gmach. In other words, It's a place where people would keep their unwanted stuff, sometimes for long term, sometimes for short term, and sometimes the other people would come regularly and pick it up and clear it out, like the Iriya does today, and sometimes not. Oh, so now says the Mishnah, Motze kli ba'ashpa. I went behind the house and found a heck of a nice kli over there, some nice, I don't know, candlestick. Ooh, in the ashpa. Now, ashpa doesn't mean it's thrown in the garbage next to, excuse my language, dirty diapers. It's like located with all kinds of odds and ends that are unwanted. But I found something really nice next to all the bits and pieces from sukkahs. Mechuse, if it's covered, lo yigaboy. If it's covered, which means somebody covered it on purpose and like hid it, secured it, don't touch it. Why? An ashpa is something which right now we assume is not taken every morning by the Yirya, which we have Baruch Hashem. It's something which the person may have kept like as a storage area, so don't touch it. But if it's uncovered, that shows that ashpa is a place of hefker. Unless the person, did not hide it. If he didn't hide it, he did not actually cover it. That means what? That he lost it. He just megula, he lost it. Now, the question is as follows. You're telling me if I found something tomun, what's tomun? Hidden, covered, secured, I have to take it and announce. Why? We just said that even if I find it in the ashpa and it's covered, I just leave it there. It's just there to be taken back in 5-10 days time. So why do you touch it bichlal? Answers the Gemara. Very, very sticky, interesting answer. Just like Rav Pope said over there, be'ashpa, listen to this. She'eina asuya lefanois, v'nimlach alea lefanoiso. Listen to this. The story is as follows. That kind of ashpa is an ashpa. It's a very bad city, very bad municipality. En asuya lefanois. They don't take the garbage. It's a kind of garbage that's not meant to be taken forever. So it's just not meant to be. In other words, an ashpa where people can leave stuff for a very long time. So now, the person left something hidden over there, right? Okay. He left it over there, and I should really not take it. If this is the ashpa that's not meant to be cleared away in the next 10 years, and I saw covered candlestick there, then enechnami, you're right. I'm not supposed to touch it, as the Mishnah further on said. I should just leave it there, and the guy will take it next Shabbos. He wants to hide it from his shviger, from his wife. He wants to give him a present. Nice. However, the nimlach aleh lefanoiso. All of a sudden, you see a guy from the area. Absolutely surprising. Nimlach, what's nimlach? Changed his mind. Some authority changed their minds, and they're about. You see the garbage truck or the collector coming down the street. And out of the blue, unexpected nimlach changed their mind, and they're about to clear away all the ashpois. Of course, you take it now, and you announce to find whose is this, because the person in his tmimus, in his naivet, what did he do? He kept it there, thought it's going to be staying there forever. Now, all of a sudden, a guy comes and he's about to take it. You have to quickly save it from what? From the guy who's about to come. In order to what? Give it to original owner who in his not foolishness, in his tmimus, he believes that it will stay there forever, and it's not stay there forever. And the Riyad didn't tell anybody they were clearing all the ashpas away all of a sudden. They didn't announce it. Now, why do we have the same thing over here? Now, let me ask a few questions here. Oh, it's time. Let me just quickly tie the loose ends. So again, if you find something in regular town, not in the ashpa, and it's hidden, or it's an ashpa that will never be taken away, don't touch it, leave it there, right? The reason why over here in the Mishnah and Mechshirin we say you found it covered, you have to announce it, is a very specific place. You found it in a place that's not meant to be cleared on a regular basis, true? Okay, and therefore the guy trusts that it will stay there. He stores it there to take it much later. All of a sudden, there's a change in plans. Somebody's about to take it. It's a mitzvah to save a Shavas Aveda. Now, why do we have to make such a twisted case? Why can't we say that it's an ashpa that's meant to be taken every day? Because if it's an ashpa that's meant to be taken every day, then he's me'aish. If you threw your thing, it means you're very rich. You don't mind by the candlesticks because you know that tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, the Iriya guy will come, or 7 o'clock. Then it's not. Another question Tosfos asks: why don't we say that Lamaisa Had the guy known, the guy's now in his house, the one who held the candlestick there, really there. Had he known that the guy's about to come from the area and take it, he'd be miyash. So why can't I say I can already take it now? Yushalomidas lo avi Yushabaye. That's Yushalomidas. He doesn't know that the Aryat truck is slowly but dangerously coming to take his candlestick. He doesn't know. Had he known, Shmed he known, but he doesn't yet know. That's exact. According to Ravi, you can take it now. According to Abaye, you cannot, and we peskin like Abaye. That's why you don't say, "Ha, it's mine." No, as long as it's not meyash, pick it up and give it to him. Try and find out who's the owner of the item. Thank you very much. And if it's what, thank you. Have a good day.